All right. Tracy, if you would tell us a little bit about your professional background.
I've been a forensic accountant for more than 25 years. I do not have an accounting degree. I actually have a criminology degree, but I took enough accounting and economics courses to be able to sit for the CPA exam. So that's how I got to the forensic accounting realm.
What do you enjoy the most about forensic accounting as a career?
I really like digging into the details and kind of putting together that puzzle of the numbers. But I like digging into those details without losing sight of the big picture. And that's where I think professionals sometimes who aren't as successful in this field go wrong. They can get into the details really, really well, but then they forget what is the big picture of this? What are we trying to prove? Do these particular details matter, or should we move on to other details, things like that?
Other than working with family lawyers like me, what do you like least about the forensic accounting industry?
The industry in general, what I dislike about it is the focus on hourly fees. And this has been a battle I've been fighting since I started my business 23 years ago. I started it and immediately started doing fixed fees for my projects. And it has been a game changer for me. It's a fabulous way to do business. It gives clients certainty in their projects. We decide what that project is, how far I'm going back, what documents I have, and I give the client a price to do the work and give them a report. And the only way that price ever changes is if they ask for more work.
What advice do you have for those considering becoming a forensic accountant?
It's a hot career, do it, but you've got to get experience. This is where there is a problem, is there's a lot of young inexperienced accountants who want to get into the field of forensic accounting. So there's a lot of competition for the jobs. You got to make yourself stand out. And the way you do that is by getting some real world experience. So that might be an internship. That might be a volunteer opportunity with with the local police, who always tend to need help on these financial investigations because their detectives don't typically know a lot about numbers. Look for any opportunity to volunteer somewhere where you might get to do some fraud investigations.
Very cool. Very cool. What is your proudest professional accomplishment?
Every time I help someone find that money that has been stolen from them, right? People might say, which is your favorite case? I don't know that I have a favorite case because I've done so many throughout the years. But when it's finding someone who truly has been victimized and then helping them recover that money, there is one in particular that I always go back to. It was way at the beginning of my career. And it was a woman whose husband had passed away. They were retired. She had never even so much as written a check in her life. He had handled all the money. And so when he died, she had an account, a retirement account with some money in it that should have kept her reasonably comfortable throughout her years. A family friend, and let's say he really wasn't much of a friend, convinced her to invest this money in some real estate. What she didn't realize when she was putting all this money into this real estate was that A, the real estate wasn't worth nearly as much as he was telling her, and B, he put himself on the deed as a part owner of the real estate. And she ultimately ended up getting swindled out of all of this money. And I came in to help prove how he swindled her out of the money, got her real estate back in her name only, recovered some funds for her, and basically made her whole. The pride in helping her was tremendous because she was so heartbroken that she had taken this money that her husband had worked so hard to save for, and she had lost it all through no fault of her own. So recovering that for her was really, really important to me.
Yeah, that's saying something that, I kind of expected you to say something like, I'm a nationally published author with the American Bar Family Law section, which is what I would say. And then, obviously you're one of the most recognized national speakers on the topic. And again, I just want to say I've learned so much from you. Every time you've spoken, at these national conferences, and I was there, I've always tried to make a beeline and make a absolute certainty that I could go hear you speak and learn from you. That it really says something that you would still think about a client rather than all the accolades you have and have been awarded in your career. Switching gears just a little bit, on a personal level, what might surprise someone working with you?
I'm so detailed and I'm so precise and I'm so militant about getting things right and getting this report just right and doing all the things. What they'd be surprised at is that I am very open to people making mistakes or doing things not quite the right way. And it's okay. We just correct it and we know for next time. And so what I found is that I'm actually a really good boss. And I never thought that that would be the case, but I'm certainly open to people learning and doing better next time.
If someone wants to get started with the divorce money guide, how can they do that?
They can go to my website, fraudcoach.com. All of my guides and materials are there. They can absolutely get started there and find my links to social media and everything else.
All right. Anything else you want to add about you, Tracy, that you think the world would be excited to learn?
I think they would be excited to learn that if I had a second career, it would be as a travel blogger. So I would run around the world. You know, these expensive properties would put me up for a few days at no cost to me in exchange for me blogging and sharing on social media all about my experience there.
All right. As a follow-up, would you always give a glowing review or would you stick it to some properties?
Hey, if they did not cut it, I would absolutely tell the truth about them. I'd be diplomatic in telling the truth, but I would want people to know, I'd want the properties as well as consumers to know that I'm always going to give them the real deal.
Yeah, off this Zoom call, I'll tell you a story sometime about a writer and editor of an entire magazine, and you could just tell when he wrote something is because he got put up for free, and it was just he didn't even write the piece. He would write the intro sentence and the last sentence, or have somebody write it for him, and that just drove me crazy because I want an honest review from these places. All right, so you're a travel blogger, and you got a choice, but you have to only pick one between a German castle, a Caribbean resort, or New Zealand. And you can't do all three because the invitation is season specific, and you got to pick one. Which one do you go to?
German castle, hands down. I've already been to the Caribbean resorts. I've already been to New Zealand. I love castles and wish that I could live in a castle. So I've got to go to the German castle.
You believe in ghosts? But do you for the places with more history, do you feel a vibration or feel that when you're there?
Can't say I feel a vibration, but I certainly feel the history. And I always wish that time travel was possible. I would love to be able to go back in time and just observe. I don't want to affect what's happening in history. I just want to be a fly on the wall to see what's happening in real time.
No, I got you. I love battlefields for that reason as well. And we have quite a few, of course, in the United States, but one of my favorite battlefields is Culloden up in Scotland. And I just feel a vibration there. Other people in my family have more colorful stories and feelings that when they get to these places. But at the end of the day, I think it's absolutely magical. And I would join you at the German castle with a German beer.
Fine.
And I'm a big fan. And then if it was true heaven, German beer with a broth, and a soft, big pretzel with the. Anyway, Tracy, thank you for joining us, and I appreciate you giving us this time because we've learned a lot from you, and hopefully we'll get a chance to speak with you in the future, and especially get some reviews on the new book, and maybe do a video at your convenience about the new book.
Well, thanks for having me. As always, it was fun talking to you.